What's up, y'all? It's your boy Niner Faithful. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for episode 6 of season 3 of Niner Faithful Radio. As you see, we're sans Adam today. We have a very special guest. We have Nick from the Nothing But Niners crew, creator and founder of Nothing But Niners. We got him in here for a little shorter episode today because, Nick's a very busy man, but we're going to go ahead and get his opinions on some draft stuff. Little free agency. I know it's old. I know this is probably going to be the lowest rated show. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and skip all the hoopla to the end because my dumbass just restarted my phone. But anyway, what's up, Nick? How you doing?
I'm doing good, TJ. I'm doing good, man. I appreciate you having me on. It's always a lot of fun to come out and talk to fans and the Niner Empire, and so I'm excited to see what you got in store today and answer what I can. So
Of course, of course, of course. Actually, you know what? One quick note before we start. As y'all see, I'm not in my normal Niner Faithful radio attire because go Sharks. You know what I'm saying? We won game one, so we got game two tonight at the tank. I'm gonna be at the rally. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get special Sharks playoff gear on Niner Faithful Radio Shop because we're trying to promote other Bay Area teams as well. Until I open up my own shop for them and stuff like that. But we're gonna go ahead and get that on probably later today, if not today, tomorrow. So we're gonna go ahead and jump right in it today. Free agency. Just real quick before we get to the draft stuff. Um, Yay, nay. I think we could have possibly done better. I mean, a little disappointed about Odell, but I'm not giving you DeForest Buckner in the second overall pick. Sorry.
yeah, I mean, free agency to me, I mean, I would give it a higher grade. I know a lot of people out there are sweating. Oh, well, we got Quan Alexander and he's coming off a knee injury. And we got Jason Verrett and he's coming off of multiple injuries. Um, the Odell Beckham Jr. trade, um, you know, if they would have came back and told us, asked us again, I think the Niners would have landed him. But like you said, I'm not giving up DeForest Buckner or the number 2 pick overall without a swap in the first round because I would have gave our first round completely away. And then you're
Yeah.
giving up a young player who is going to grow even more with this team now that we have a legitimate outside edge rush.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah, overall, I mean, free agency to me, I like the Jason Verrett signing. It was kind of a low risk, high reward type of signing if we can get him healthy. Quan Alexander, I just moved back to New Jersey from Tampa, so I'm familiar
Okay.
with him. He was the heart and soul of that team. A lot of fans of my friends that are there are fans of the Buccaneers, so they love Quan Alexander. They message me like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you guys got Quan. He's the heart and soul of this defense. He is what he is." He misses a lot of tackles, yes, and that's a downfall on him. But the reason he misses a lot of tackles is because of the fact that he over pursues things because he's so fast. So he's so fast from sideline to sideline. So matching him up with Fred Warner, I think that'll be a huge hit. And then obviously the trade for D Ford, only giving up a second next year or 2021, I think
Yeah.
it was.
Next year.
Yeah, so 2020 first round pick or second round pick, you can't beat that. You didn't give up any capital this year. You're betting on him being good throughout next year and us being better next year to give up a second rounder in 2020. But yeah, a little upset about the Robbie Gold not signing his tag yet, but I think they'll get that done. I think they'll get that extension. I think they have until I think it's May something, but either way, other than that, I mean, I would give free agency. We hit needs that we needed. I'm not going to base this off of talent level and what we got, but I do think that we need to, or we gave. I will give it a. I'd probably give it a B, due to the fact that we hit needs of our positions of need.
I mean, to me, it's I would give it a B. A B is a fair grade. I think that the Tevin Coleman signing, I think was good. You could see that. What I like most about free agency, uh, we of course went over this. But by the way, a big shout out to D Ford. Come to find out, we have the same birthday, so both Pisces. So that was pretty cool. Um, I put happy birthday and he liked it on the Niner post. I put happy birthday, birthday twin, and he liked it. So, um, I think maybe Earl Thomas, but not at that price. You know, could have only made it better. I am a little concerned that we didn't attack the free safety position, but of course this is before the draft, so um, I'm sorry. I understand the faith in Jimmy Ward. I understand that he's been through so many coaching staffs and they all love him and everything like that, and I have no problem with signing Jimmy Ward. But if Jimmy Ward and Adrian Colbert and DJ Reed are your answers to the free safety, the backbone of our defense, I got a little bit of an issue with that. If you plan not to address it in the draft. Now here we're sitting pre-draft. I like your draft that we put in the group chat. A little interesting not taking I understand your reasoning behind it and everything like that, but all seriousness aside, uh, the question of the hour, Bosa. Um, are you a Bosa? Are you a trade back? Are you a Quentin Williams? What is your position?
Well, I mean, obviously, if Nick Bosa is sitting there, you have to take Nick Bosa. You
Yes.
cannot. You have to take Nick Bosa only because of the fact that he is one of the top guys. So if Kyler Murray goes off the board or Quentin Williams goes off the board first, um, you got to take Bosa. If Bosa goes off the board first, I'll look at Quentin Williams, but I also want to see what kind of haul I can get to trade
Yeah.
back. Because if we can trade back into the top 10, even the top 12, I think you could still land a Brian Burns, maybe even a Farrell, or later in second round you could probably get a Jalen Ferguson or Jaquai Polite. And I've all these mocks that I've been doing, Polite has fallen to the third or fourth round. Um, Now people think that he has a lot of head issues, off the field stuff like that. But the kid can ball. I mean, he can ball. He fits a need that we need. But if Bosa's not there, you got to stock up, move back a little bit, take another option. You can even go something different than edge. I really think that you can get a Jalen Ferguson, maybe a Farrell in the top of the second,
Mm-hmm.
um, and maybe even let's say Farrell, Ferguson, and Burns. Burns is probably going to go top 15. He'll probably be the next guy off the board after Bosa.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I'm a Bosa guy all the way. Obviously, I'm an Ohio State fan as well, and I've
Okay.
watched him his whole career. Um, he really doesn't have a whole lot of sacks in his career to show for it, but he shows a lot of pressures, his percentages, his tackles for loss, things like that. So we don't need this guy to come in here and get us 15 to 20 sacks because we got D Ford on one side. We need Burns and D Ford on one side, and then DeForest Buckner next to one or the other. And then you got Eric Armstead, Solomon Thomas, DJ Jones playing the one tech in this wide nine. So it'll definitely help. It's not we don't have to base our everything off of sacks. So you could even go Brian Burns. I wouldn't go Brian Burns as high as 2, obviously. I would definitely try to trade back and get him somewhere there.
Uh, my opinion, I'm not the world's biggest college football fan, and so that's why usually on the show I kind of leave the analysis to um, Adam, you know. And but I will with players like Nick Bosa. I mean, everybody knows, but you can't be a football fan and not know Nick Bosa. I mean, and so real quick on the D Ford thing, I saw something from, I believe it was 49ers Web Zone, had put out with the idea of, I remember the trade that essentially landed us Joe Staley. We had traded with the Patriots. I want to say it was 2006. We had did a trade with the Patriots where we swapped first round picks. And that's why we were in the position to pick Joe Staley late in the first round in '07. So the idea of that trade is that the Niners people are thinking the second round pick as, the second round, but this is not going to be like this year where we have the 36th pick. I think the Niners are thinking that this could possibly be such a late round pick that you're looking at I don't know the numbers exactly in my head, but you're essentially looking at maybe a 20th range of a playoff slash just missed the playoff range of the second round. So almost where it's almost like a third. And so essentially the idea behind this article was, look, we got Dee Ford for essentially a high third round pick. And I think the idea of what the Niners are trying to build is, if you look at the Tampa Bay defenses, what was the strength? John Lynch said it in the press conference to announce Alexander and Dee Ford, was that 3 Mississippi is a lot easier than 5 Mississippi. In Tampa Bay, he had 3 Mississippi. So I think that now, to get back to the free agency position real fast, I do think the idea is that, hey, you know what? We don't need Earl Thomas star-studded, you know, free safety if we have a great pass rush. I think, to me, if I'm the Niners, this is what I'm saying. I'm saying Dee Ford and, let's just say, Nick Bosa, for all intents and purposes, are going to be what pushes the pressure up to DeForest Buckner. Is, I think, ideally how the Niners stand at this is, like you said, Bosa doesn't need to be a 15 sack guy, because I really believe DeForest Buckner is going to be our 15 sack guy. DeForest Buckner is going to essentially be the Aldon Smith of this era of the Niners. He's essentially going to be working off the hard work of the edge players, and the quarterback will have no choice but to step up. And DeForest Buckner is just going to eat all day. DeForest Buckner, Solomon Thomas, Eric Armstead, DJ Jones, so on and so forth.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you said, essentially, if we finish well, it could be a high third round pick. So that helps us out as well. Not only will that other edge presence help DeForest Buckner, but I think it will help our linebackers as well, between Fred Warner and Quan Alexander with their speed. It will help Richard Sherman on the outside, to help Akello or Jason Verrett on the other opposite side. And then you have Kwan Williams filling in, maybe some more filling in there as well. I'd really like to see Marcel Harris and DJ Reed. Marcel Harris came in last year, played a little bit of free safety towards the end of the season. I really like him. I'm not a big Ward fan, but only because of the fact that he has not shown me anything. He is a talented guy. He is a talented guy, athletic, but I always say this on my show, and I say it to Mike and stuff like that all the time. The best ability is availability, and until he's available consistently, he's only played. We just did this talk last night, so Jason Verrett has played in 25 games in 5 years. Jimmy Ward has played in 51 for 5 years. They've both been in the league. He was asking me what the difference was between why am I excited that Verrett's here, but I'm not excited that Jimmy Ward's here. Well, the problem is that Jason Verrett did play 1 year. He played 15 games in that season, and it was a Pro Bowl year. He shows on tape that he's really good. Jimmy Ward, on the other hand, shows some potential of being really good, but it's just consistent injury after consistent injury after consistent injury. People like to keep him here because of his diversiveness, I guess you could say, his diversity of being able to play nickel, play outside, and play safety and strong safety if he needed to. But that's all fine and dandy, but you got to be healthy to play those positions. So I'm a little bit on board with you. I don't think safety is as high as we think, because I think Adrian Colbert last year kind of got into his own head. He came out the first year, he was balling really well. And then when you go back and watch the tape, it just looks like his angles are wrong. His route recognition isn't there. And you got to remember, Adrian Colbert was not originally a safety. He was a corner. So we converted him to safety, and it was his first year. He hasn't even had a full year playing safety. So I think he'll hit the books a little bit harder this year. I think he'll study a little bit harder this year. I'm hoping he gets the start, but I really think that Jimmy Ward's probably going to be the starter with us bringing him back. But Colbert did start safety last year, so Ward sat the bench after Sherman came back. So, but give Colbert a little bit of time. I mean, he's just drafted, and when I watch tape, it just looks like he needs to get better. His speed, his athleticism, all that is there. It's just up here in the mind, and to me, he can cover from sideline to sideline. He's good coming down on the ball a little bit. He could probably get better at that. He could also get better at route recognition, knowing where to be and jumping on balls and routes a little bit sooner than what he normally does. But we can't really count him out. I mean, yes, he's a 7th-round pick, but we've seen the talent. So to just do away with Adrian Colbert and not let him play, I think would be a stupid move on the Niners' part. I think with Jimmy Ward, DJ Reed, and Adrian Colbert, I don't think we're as bad off as a lot of people think. But not to say that we shouldn't draft a free safety, but I just don't think we should draft a free safety in round 2 where we could still get a Lonnie Johnson, like a good corner, and a Lonnie Johnson, or you could probably – Nasir Adderley probably is going to go a little high. Amani Hooker could probably drop a little bit to the 3rd or 4th. Taylor Rapp might drop a little bit because, there's not a lot out on him right now about that. My biggest drop I think is going to be Greedy Williams. I think he's going to drop a lot more than people think. So I think it just came out today that he hasn't even had any visits, no meetings or anything. So what that means, I don't know. You can hold what you want to, but yeah, I don't think safety's as big of a need as most people think.
Well, so I'm a Adrian Colbert fan. I mean, to me, the way I look at things is that I think what the difference between could have been and is in the NFL is consistent. That's what I really think. I mean, yeah, you have your freakish, your Calvin Johnsons, your people who are just freak athletes that are just, what I like what I like to call the genetic lottery. Like LeBron James in basketball. Not everybody's born 6'9" and 285, 290 pounds. Not everybody's just born that way. But I think what makes you difference between for example, not even T.O., but your example, your John Taylors, and your maybe Josh Morgan, to bring it back to a Niner that shows some potential but never really quite planned out. It's consistency. So I think I agree with you. I think Adrian Colbert. I think and Ahkello Witherspoon. Not to call anybody out because I love them as Niners and everything, and as men. But they're really cool dudes from what I've been able to get. I think they started feeling themselves a little too much, and I really did. And I think that same, especially with Adrian Colbert being the 7th-round pick and all that, I think that same chip on his shoulder that drives him is the same chip on his shoulder that let him feel himself a little too much. I think that you could see, I'll admit, even me, I forgot. I mean, I remember that we switched him because Jimmy Ward got hurt. We switched him to safety. But he hadn't even played a year at safety. And I had kind of forgotten that he hadn't even played a year at safety. So I'm not saying I want Adrian Colbert on the team because A, injuries happen, and B, I think there's special teams value. And like I said, I think that the talent, like you said, the talent's there. I mean, that hit, mind you, that he was motivated because, of the hit on Marquise Goodwin, his cousin, which a lot of people don't know. Marquise Goodwin is Adrian Colbert's cousin. That type of hit, that changes football games. I mean, ask Dante Hittner, and the New Orleans Saints, how one hit can change a football game. And so I really feel that I want Adrian Colbert on the team. And John Lynch came out and said they believe that Adrian Colbert is the safety of the future. So I'm not saying that it's the biggest need in the entire world. I'm not saying that I'm more concerned about offensive line than I am about the free safety position. I think I'm even more a little bit concerned about receiver. So to get real quick, where do you rank our needs in the draft as far as important, as far as need to luxury?
I would rate it obviously edge. I think we could use edge again. Outside linebacker, receiver.
I would think guard.
All right, so I'll go edge, receiver. No, I'll go edge, outside linebacker, like a linebacker for Sam.
Yeah,
Then I'll
Sam.
go
Yeah, that's
receiver, and then I'll go guard.
yeah, yeah.
Then I would do free safety and corner. That's exactly how I would probably rate them.
Okay, okay. I would be if you tell me that we've got talent and people that can compete. And I think that's the biggest lesson that I hope the Niners learned from last year was the dangers of handing people jobs and not bringing in competition because I don't really think that Adrian Colbert really faced any competition. I don't think Akilla Weatherspoon really faced any competition last year. As far as any serious threat, like, look, this man could come take your job. I really don't. I think that they walked in expecting things, and this year, I'm not saying that the Niners don't have who they think will be their starting defense, their starting, whatever. Um, but I don't think that anything should be etched in stone. And iron sharpens iron, right? So I would say that to me. So are you of the camp? Because I've heard some whispering. Do you bring in with the guard pick? Me and Adam have talked about this, and I believe that yeah, guard is a need. I would like to draft a guard and maybe guard slash tackle because I think that what everybody doesn't want to face and 49ers Web Zone had just put an article out today about just exactly how Joe Staley, maybe next to Joe Thomas, is the best left tackle of this generation. You know, and so we love Joe and never want to see him go. But like I like to say on when I talk about Richard Sherman and how everybody just etches Sherman, oh yeah, hey, don't you know? I like to say in regards to that, Father Time is undefeated and will always remain so. So, are you of the camp that this is the year that we kind of not? I'm saying more in the type of development. I'm not saying somebody that could come take Joe's job day one because I don't think that's going to happen. But his contract's up after this year. How much more are you? How much longer are you willing to extend Joe Staley? To possibly that money going to a younger player, DeForest Buckner, George Kittle in a couple of years.
I think I think Joe Staley, if Joe Staley wants to stay here another year, I think he'll stay. I think we'll extend him for another year. My thinking on this though is I don't think we need to replace him now. He has one more year on his contract, which is next year, and not this year, but next year. So 20.
Okay, so it's 2020. I'm sorry. I apologize. I thought this year was okay.
No, so this year I don't think we need to replace him. I think next year we definitely need to get a replacement. And if you get an edge guy this year and you got D Ford, that's set. That's not a big need. You can go with a guard or a tackle that's coming out next year. If you're picking at 20s, in the 20s.
Okay.
Let's say we make the playoffs and we're picking 20 to 23. You can go with a tackle there.
Yeah. That's what Joe Staley is taking.
Yeah. So I mean, you can get a good tackle there. As far as guard, I want to bring in a little bit of competition because I want to get Garnett on his butt, like get a little fire under his butt, get him out there working. But I mean, I like Person, I like Garnett. I just think that we can still upgrade there. Laken Tomlinson, the other tackle, the other right tackle.
Guard.
I'm sorry. And then Mike McGlinchey. I was thinking Mike McGlinchey in my head. Mike McGlinchey, the other tackle. So you got Laken, which has been a huge success for the Niners. We gave up.
Oh, yeah.
He's been a huge success. I think he can get better at, some penalties. He gets one or two a game, but there's nothing really that we just talked about him last night as well. There's nothing really that stands out to me that he's done wrong other than he'll get a false start penalty or things like that once a game. But he doesn't give up a whole lot of sacks. He can get a little bit better in pass pro, but other than that, I think he's half decent. He's average. But there was one thing that you said that I wasn't sure if I agree with. you're saying last year we didn't bring in competition when really we did. I mean, we got a shit ton of young guys to compete against Akello, and we seen most of them. I think the problem is that we seen them play when they weren't expecting to play. So with getting DJ Reed, DJ Moore, Tavarius Moore, Marcel Harris. If you look at what we did roster wise last year, we had more secondary guys on this team that we brought in. Chancellor James, Lorenzo Jerome,
Okay.
like a ton of guys. So we brought a ton of talent in, and those that were cut, and then those that played, nobody expected Akello to go down or Sherman not to really be his self or, in preseason. Obviously, Sherman played the whole game, the whole season, but he missed, I think, one or two games. So
2-3.
You got to remember, last year we had 11. I think at one time we had 11 new guys on defense playing. That's true. And we still ranked, I think, 15th overall in defense and 3rd in rushing defense. So the talent is there. It's just a matter of getting guys to start day one and finish day whatever all together.
Yeah. Okay. So when I had gone on, a friend, Chris of mine, does the fifth down sports show. And so he brings me in on as his Niner insider. And so my whole thing is I came on there and I thought Saleh was gone. I did. Now this was of course before the 5-game, the 5-game stretch to end the season with the the 3 wins and all that. So when I approached it, and after the season and it was announced he would be back and everything, the way I approached it, and Shanahan explained it to me like this, and I think this is sometimes where we get frustrated as fans, is that, and sometimes we need to see is how bad were we with Chip Kelly? Okay, we were horrible, probably worst defense in the league. Then Robert Saleh comes in. And to say, if you would have told us at the end of 2016, hey, in 2 years, you'll have a middle of the pack ranked defense. And like you said, 3rd rushing defense after having a historically bad rush defense. I mean, I was there for a lot of those home games where I'm just like, bruh, who is this dude that just gashing us?
Oh, we had 3rd string guys just gashing us on.
I was there for the Tampa game. I was there for the Tampa and Jets game, other games too, but I was there and it was, I mean, that was embarrassing. Yeah. I have never really felt embarrassed as a Niner fan too many times. Like the meme I shared on Facebook this morning said, could you speak in, it had a picture of the 5 trophies and it said, could you speak a little bit louder into these? I couldn't hear you. Just kind of like, that's kind of what I hang my hat on. But that 2016 season was embarrassing. So if you would have told me that we would have been where we were last year, or where we were at this point 2 years ago, I think that's not bad. And to me, yeah, there's issues, there's missed tackles, there's things that were concerning that we saw in the defense last year, but I could say we're getting better. And so to me, I'll put my faith. I'll go into you, and I'll put my faith in that. Last week's episode, I won't get into it this one, but if you want more detail, I went ahead and broke down our new head athletic trainer that came from Denver. I went ahead and broke down a little bit of the injury history with Denver and how Denver has been a less injured team than us over the course of his time with the Broncos. And so there maybe are some concerns. I without getting into exactly who was injured and how important and things like that, it was kind of just a overall team health kind of thing. And so addressing that issue, as far as like you said, hey, getting the same guys to start day 1 to finish, day 16 or game 16, those moves have been made. And the one thing that makes me believe in the Linehan era is that whatever issues that have been, like 2017, there were some issues. we addressed those issues. 2018, there were some issues, pass rush, whatnot, whatever. We've addressed those issues, and so real quick, I know you got to go, and we went kind of long here. So real quick, Knicks. I'm not going to say final draft or whatever, but we know that you do your mock drafts on Nothing But Niners and everything like that. So what's your latest one? We'll go ahead and finish with that.
Shoot, I got to look it up.
Oh, yeah, my bad, bro. Didn't mean to put you on the spot.
No, you're good. You're good. So let me tell you. So I did 2 today. Like I said, one I was thinking outside the box, and one I was drafting thinking like the Niners GM. So let's see, where is it at? All right, the first one I ended up trading with Green Bay, and I got picked out of the number 2 spot. Mm-hmm. I got a pick 12 and pick 30 in the first, and I also got pick round 2 pick 5, I think it was. So I ended up with let's see, 2 4.
Now was Bosa available?
No,
in that one. No,
he was taken.
Okay.
Yeah,
so that's why you did the trade.
Yep, Bosa was off the board. So I ended up taking Josh Allen. There's Quinnen Williams obviously off the board at 12 too.
Yeah.
And then pick 30, I did end up taking Greedy Williams here because he was the highest ranked corner on the board. Mm-hmm. Round 2 pick 15, I traded back 5 to the 15, and I picked up two 4th round picks. So I traded the second round 2 pick 4 for round 2 15, and I picked up round 4 pick 12, round 4 pick 17. So I ended up with pick 15 in round 2. I ended up taking Nasir Adderley, cornerback, free safety. Round 3 pick 3, I ended up taking Riley Ridley. Round 3 pick 16, I ended up taking Nate Davis, the guard out of Charlotte. Round 4 pick 2, I took Nicole Harbin. A lot of people probably don't know much about him, but he's probably a receiver that needs a little bit of work, but he has the talent level there. Now these are the picks that I picked up from Carolina and Cleveland, I think it was. Round 4 pick 12, I took Ja'Quai Polite in round 4. Round 4, go ahead.
So just real quick, he was the one. I know he's a Gator. I'm a Gators fan, so I have no problem with you taking him. I'm all for all Gators. That want to beat Niners. But my question is, he was the one that came out and said the Niners basically just sat at him and bitched at him his whole interview, right?
I don't take that as serious as most people because he was laughing about it. Like he was laughing like, okay, I don't think he was literally bashing just the Niners. He was just bashing everybody, saying they're just asking me negative questions. But that's what these are about. They're about picking you apart. They're not to see, so
they want to see how you can handle it.
Would I take a flyer on him in the 4th? Probably 4th or 5th. I'd take a flyer on him. So then round 4, pick 17, I took Max Sharping, offensive tackle from North Illinois.
Okay.
And then I took another defensive end I had another 4th round pick, 26 overall. And I took Ben Banoug from the defensive end from TCU. I really like this guy. He's just not worth anything above a 3rd. You could probably get him late in the 4th. He's got good size, good speed off the edge. He fights with his hands a lot. I just like him. He's a good pick in the 4th. Round 5, pick 15, I took Porter Gustin, outside linebacker from USC. With him still sitting on the board at 5, you can probably get him 5 or 6. But I ended up taking him in round 5, pick 15. They gave me a B+ rating on it. Round 6, pick 3, I took the center, Jesse Burkett from Stanford. I know a lot of people don't want to draft people from Stanford. I actually took 2 Stanford players, and I'll let you know who the other one is.
Okay.
Which was my next pick round 6, pick 21, I ended up taking Jake Bailey, the punter. He's the best punter in college, coming out right now. I took him because obviously we don't have Bradley Pinion anymore. We picked up a guy who hasn't even really punted in a full season, and I think he was ex-soccer player or something. And then my last pick, the comp pick for round 6, pick 39, I ended up taking Keelan Doss, wide receiver out of UC Davis, which if he really drops to the 6, that's a steal. But overall, they gave me a 30,155 with a grade A, pick wise. Then,
okay, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, so I mean, my whole thing has always been, I don't like to really get into so much the player debate. I mean, it's fun and that's what we do, and we all have our opinions. My whole idea has always been, are we addressing needs? Because I'm not going to ever pretend to know more than John Lynch or Kyle Shanahan or Martin Mayhew or whoever. I just don't. They've forgotten more about football than I'll ever know.
Yeah, and I mean,
but my whole thing is the reason I look at it is because I'll admit I'm not the hugest college football fanatic anyway. So the way I look at it, because I'm from an area that college football really isn't big. Like you lived in Florida. My daddy's from Florida. College football high school football is like NFL out there. Like it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? I come from an area where, we got San Jose. I'm at San Jose State right now. And yeah, nobody loves the Spartans like that. Anyway.
There is a guy visiting the Niners from San Jose State, which I really love, Josh Oliver.
Yeah. I always get a little smile from, of course, to me, one of the most underrated quarterbacks in Niner history came from San Jose State, Jeff Garcia.
Yep.
Local Gilroy kid. Anyway, I got a boy who went to middle school with him. So, but to me, what I say, what I like your drafting, and I like where you're going with it is you address needs. Like I like how you took a tackle. Is he the future? Is he the future replacement to Joe Staley? I mean, do we ever really know? But
I
guess we will know.
Yeah, if I get a boatload of extra picks I ended up having like 5 4th-round picks in that with the trade.
Yeah,
so crazy. If I have, we only have 1 right now. So if I get 3 or 2 extra 4th-round picks, I'm going to take another position of need. To where this year, if we stayed put and didn't trade anything, I'm not taking a tackle this year. But if we have the picks, why not?
Well, because my whole thing about it is, and we'll go ahead and get in this last little segment. I'll let you go. But my whole point about it is that if you say that any person will tell you, I mean, even Bill Walsh, some of the best people who consider, geniuses and build franchise and you know what I'm saying? Like there's a joke between, Bill Belichick always says is that, hey, if we were so smart, we wouldn't have passed on them 6 times. Talking about Tom Brady. And, if we were so smart, look, there's teams that passed on Joe Montana 3 times. You know what I'm saying? So there's 16 teams that passed on Jerry Rice. Like, there's all 32 teams.
Jerry Rice wasn't even on the Niners board at first.
Yeah. It's a fluke. We all know the story about, Bill Walsh watching the highlights in a game against.
No, but I'm saying the Niners on draft day weren't even going to draft him. They wanted somebody else. And that guy got taken 2 picks before the Niners picked, and then Jerry Rice fell to us. So then that's how we ended up with Jerry Rice.
We traded ahead to Dallas. And, just like, people were trying to talk Bill Walsh out of drafting Dwight Clark. They're like, you could get him on the free agent. And Bill Walsh was, no, I want to draft him. He's going to be here. So I mean, but even Bill Walsh made mistakes. So my point about it is the draft is a crapshoot. So to me, if you say John Lynch has a 50-50 track record as a GM, first of all, I think he's a Hall of Famer. That's excellent. let's just say, cool. So then I want as many players to those odds on, because 10 players at 50-50 is way better than 5 players at 50-50. And so that's my thing, is I think that we're on that border. I think this draft is the most crucial draft of this regime, because I think we're right about the border. I think we're right about where we expected to be, i.e., we got here different ways than maybe we had planned in 2017. But I think we're right about where we want to be. This draft, I think, is the last one where we really need to get. I mean, we're always looking for stars and things like that, but we really need out of this draft, because I think this is going to be the last one where we could set our franchise up for a long time. Because let's be realistic, if we're picking anywhere higher than, I'd say, 12 next year, 12 to 10 range, because you never know with tied records and things. We got some issues if we're picking in the top 10 next year.
Yeah, I mean, this draft you have to hit gold with.
Yeah.
I don't mean you have to strike on every pick, but you got to get at least 50% of these picks right, and you can't let up that first round pick. If the edge guy is there, you can't. If Nick Bosa is there, you cannot let him go. If a Quinnen Williams is there and you don't get the trade value, you got to take Quinnen Williams. If Quinnen Williams is gone and Bosa is there, but somebody wants to give you a ton of picks, I might weigh it, but it really depends on how far down. If we can go to 4 or 6 and still get a Josh Allen, because I'm not big on taking Josh Allen at 2.
I don't want Josh Allen, really, honestly.
Yeah, so – but, yeah, I mean, you definitely have to hit on this draft.
Just real quick, my whole thing on Josh Allen is that me personally, I'm like 1 year production. I'm not really – I mean, yeah, there's things to love about him on tape and everything like that. Now, I'm not saying that he's not an athlete or he's not a first-round pick. I'm not saying I wouldn't take him. To me, if we're going to trade to, 4 to 6 might be a little high, but I'm saying in your scenario, let's say we trade to 12 or 10, somewhere around that way. I'm really looking at Montez Sweat. And the reason I'm looking at Montez Sweat, depending on your opinion and how much he'll fall and whatever, is based on one thing. If you go back to the interview Robert Saleh did, and you basically, he hinted at, he questioned people who weren't there, meaning Josh Allen. You know what I'm saying? And that's always been my thing about Josh Allen is, I understand, preparing yourself and risk of injury and things like that. But if you consider yourself a top 4 pick, and 2 of the coaching staffs that hold the top 4, 2 of the top 4 selections, half the top 4 selections, and are both looking for your position, a pass rusher, why would you not show up? Now, I understand there's reasons, and I'm not saying that took them totally off their board, but if you listen to Robert Saleh, he had some questions to answer. And if you look at John Lynch's track record and how he is and his philosophy on football, tell me that doesn't mean something to John Lynch when you're picking hairs.
Yeah, I think it has a lot to do with it, and I was kind of upset with it as well. The main reason I don't want him at 2, and I don't think Montez Sweat's going to be down there at 10 or 11.
Oh, I don't think so either.
I think it's going to go either Bosa, Sweat, Burns, or Bosa, Burns, Sweat. That's how I think they're going to come off the board.
Strictly edge?
Yeah, strictly edge guys.
Okay.
Yeah, just strictly edge.
Over Williams?
No, just strictly edge guys. I'm just saying, like, in that position. So I think Josh Allen may drop a little bit down, but I still think he might. I think those 4 guys probably go in the top 12.
Yeah.
Top 12. And Quinnen Williams. So that's 5 out of 12 picks right there on edge guys. So yeah, the reason I don't want to take Josh Allen at 2, like I said, is because he's more of an outside linebacker. He's going to have to learn more of the defensive end position, unless you're drafting him to play outside linebacker, unless you're playing him to play Sam or drafting him to play Sam. And I don't waste a number 2 pick on a Sam. So, that's to me. I know stats. Niners fans love stats, the 17.5 sacks, the pressures, this and that. But I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of him. If he does come here, I'll be happy because he's a Niner and I'll support him. But until till I have to say one day I told you so. But yeah. So other than that, man, I'm super stoked about the draft. What are we? 2 weeks out now?
Yeah, just about. So yeah, my basically to wrap it up, the way I'm looking at it is that I'm Bosa just because he's really teeter tottering, and I'm not gonna get into his tweets and political shit and or stuff, and all that, but I obviously feel some type of way about it, but whatever. Anyway, um, I pretty much just because to me it's the safest pick, and to me, if it doesn't work out, you can, yeah, sure, everybody will point out all the negative things about him and everything like that, but you know, like I use this as an example. I can't knock John Lynch for drafting, or I can knock John Lynch for drafting Reuben Foster, but I can't knock the idea and that the fact that he did it when I was jumping up and down saying we drafted the next Patrick Ward. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of hard for me to do that.
Speaking of Reuben Foster, before you
yes.
jump in anything, so Reuben Foster is not receiving any suspension for his actions. He's actually going to be only getting fined for 2 games and no suspension, so he can start the league at regular time.
Wow. So then let me ask you this. So then screw whatever I was going to talk about this. So you think it was a mistake letting him go?
No. The reason I don't think it's a mistake is because he literally lied to our team, and we gave him that second chance. So, our front office and stuff went to bat for him. The players went to bat for him. They were, trying to help him out. And he's like, I'm not seeing her. I'm not doing this. But yet he invites her to Tampa. And then the whole thing happens. And to me, that is just, if you can't trust your players, then why even keep them here? So it wasn't like he wasn't already in trouble. He's already got in trouble. He already got a suspension for it. And then he promises them that he's going to fix it and he's not going to do it anymore and that he's not talking to. And John Lynch or Kyle Shanahan even said, I just asked him the other day how things are going and if he has spoken with her. And he said, no, I haven't talked to her in forever. But yet you invite her to Tampa. So to me, I think it's the right move. It's the second flag, and you couldn't go on, and you had to replace this guy. So you have to replace this guy. So why not get somebody in there that's going to look forward to playing and replacing? So
yeah, just I mean, my whole opinion about it is yeah, everything you said, and my whole thing about this is let's not pretend like Reuben Foster was blowing up the league. You know what I'm saying? Let's not pretend that we loved him because of his potential. Yeah, and I was there. I was there the Thanksgiving game against Seattle. And that's probably the worst feeling I've ever had at a football game in my entire life. The most I've ever seen just by one event, just fine 1 second, and then just life sucked out of a stadium was when Reuben Foster went down against Carolina. I'd never felt the energy and life and just whatever sucked out of a stadium so fast in my life. Here and the stick. And I went to games at Candlestick. So, the stadium was chanting his name when he came back to the sideline. So I loved it. But let's not pretend like he was blowing up the league. So why is that? Well, it's because he missed most of the offseason. Well, why did he miss most of the offseason? Because of trouble with this girl. Oh, the girl he invited the whole team in Tampa Bay? Yeah. So then what that taught me? That taught me you didn't learn your lesson, cuz. And so why am I supposed to believe that this won't be an issue next season and the season after that and the season after that?
And I mean, I hope he gets his shit together.
I do too.
I do, because he's a heck of an athlete. But does it suck that he's not going to be playing for us? And if he goes and has a Hall of Fame career or whatever, but yeah, it would suck because obviously it's just like, passing up on somebody. But
Yeah.
he had his opportunity here, and he did the fans wrong. He proved the fans wrong. He proved the front office wrong. He did the front office wrong, and it's time. It was time to move on. And I said the same thing on our show. It's like he deserved to be gone. He didn't. You get that other. You don't get that opportunity many times in the NFL. You mess up
So
once,
2018 to me is about one thing. Now, I have came on and said I understand that Marquise Goodwin and why he missed, time. And I'm not saying that, obviously, I have my own personal opinions, but I'm not going to knock somebody who goes and deals with a tragedy with their wife. Okay. But without speaking to necessarily so much that situation, because we all saw what he did in 2017, when he scored the touchdown and all that. So, but 2018 to me is about accountability. Can I depend on you? Are you going to be here with this football team? I bring this story up all the time because I don't think this is. I believe in somewhat in history repeating itself, and I believe that things are coincident, not coincidence. Like I don't believe that it's Jerry Rice is the greatest all time. I don't believe that Jerry Rice is not the greatest football player of all time, and he was the hardest worker of all time, and I don't think that's a coincidence. I don't think it's a coincidence that Robbie Lott chopped off the pinky, the tip of his pinky to play in the game, and he has 4 Super Bowl rings. And let's be realistic. If he would have stayed on the Niners, he would have had all 5, possibly more. And so it's about, can I depend on you? Are you going to be there in the team? I'm not saying that anybody needs to cut off their pinky or anything like that, but I'm saying, are you going to be accountable on the team? And if I can't be accountable you can't be accountable, and I can't depend on you to suit up on game day, regardless of whatever the reason is, except for extreme, circumstances, then I don't need you in the red and gold. And you know what? That goes from superstar Jimmy G. Cool, to the last man on the practice squad. If I can't depend on you, I don't need you for this team.
Yeah,
Sorry. I don't mean to be so harsh and so about it, but
I don't think there's anybody that we can't depend on.
I'm not saying that there is anybody that we can't depend on. I think that those issues are being taken care of themselves. Love Pierre de Gerson. I was happy when we signed him, but it was time to move on. Pierre, sorry, we can't depend on you. You played literally half the games you could as a Niner. Sorry, I can't. Somebody can't be my number 1 receiver who's playing half the game.
Right.
I can't do that. Sorry. And so thanks for coming on, Nick. I'll go ahead. I know you got some errands to run and some business to handle. Before I let you go, let the people know where they can find Nothing But Niners and everything we got going on for Nothing But Niners this season.
So obviously you can follow Nothing But Niners on YouTube. We just hit our 5,000 subscriber. I think we're up to like 5,025 now. We're doing a giveaway over there as well. You just have to check out the 5K 5K celebration video or giveaway video. You can find us on Twitter and Snapchat, Nothing But 9, the number 9 ERS, Facebook and Instagram, Nothing But Niners, all spelled out. We're on SoundCloud, iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Google Play. We're all over there. And you can just type in NB Niners or NBN or anything like Nothing But Niners, all the way spelled out, whatever. You'll find us over there. Myself, you can follow on Twitter. I'm not on Facebook anymore, but you can follow me on Twitter at 49er Faithful 365. That's just 49ERF. No S in there. 49er Faithful 365. And that's pretty much it. I mean, we'll be live. Nothing But Niners goes live Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays, and also sometimes Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Depending, I'll do some mock drafts with fans. Thursdays are fan interaction shows. Right now, we're doing a breakdown of the general manager. We just finished part 2 last night, so part 3 will be coming up on Sunday. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right. Also, I have Nick on, obviously, Niner brother and all that. Just want to say, thank you for everything that you've done, bro. Let me write for y'all and everything like that, man. I really enjoy it. I'm going to go ahead and announce this. I haven't said this on the show, but this year I'm going to be, I don't want to say taking on a lesser role, but I'm going to be doing weekly profile players. So what I'm going to do is me and Nick got to hammer out the exact details and exactly how we're going to do this and everything. I don't know if I want to start draft, because I don't want to interrupt and step on people's toes. But what I'll be doing is I'll be picking a player of the week. I might actually even have it sponsored or maybe that'll be a Patreon type thing. Is hey, subscribe and you can pick whatever. Anyway, I'm gonna be breaking down a player and everything like that, and it'll be on the website. It'll also be on NinerFaithfulRadio.com. Go to Niner Faithful Radio, or go to NothingButNiners.com. Check out all our articles. I mean, Dylan, Scott, myself, Kevin. Who else am I missing? Many writers. All awesome. We're working on getting Nothing But Niners and getting people to Vegas next year for the draft. Nick said he's locked in. We're going to be locked in. We're trying to get Adam locked in, but getting a hold of Adam sometimes is Anyway, but thanks so much for coming on, Nick. Really appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, man. No problem. No problem. And do you have anything to say to end the video or?
Yeah. So I'll go ahead and pull out my outro. Hold on. Being stupid. Thank you for being stupid right now. Before we get out of here, of course, we are trying to monetize our YouTube. So we got our 4,200 subscribers or 4,200 watch minutes, 1,200 subscriber contest where I guess apparently I got some wrong information or whatever. The Niners don't do tours of Levi's anymore. So we're going to switch it up a little bit, but we're go ahead and we're going to pick the winner. It's going to you're going to have to fly yourself out here if you have to fly, but I'm going to be giving a ticket away. We're going to have you come out to Empire Row for a tailgate, and then we will go to the Niner Museum. I will pay for your entry into the Niner Museum. So it's going to be a whole weekend of fun. I'll take you out to, we'll go out to San Francisco. I'll take you out to Kezar Stadium. We'll go to Kezar Pub. I'm really looking for somebody who ain't never really been out of here. We're trying to turn this into you come to San Francisco, this might be a once in a lifetime opportunity. Somebody from France or Germany. Anyway, once in a lifetime opportunity to come to the United States, and I get to be a representative of the Bay Area and of the Niner Empire. Now I'm gonna make sure you have the best time of your entire life. I guarantee you. So as always, check out our blogs for Nothing But Niners and Sports Elite. Subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, all that good stuff. I shall see y'all next week. We're going to go ahead and this will be aired on Monday. So we will see you the week of the draft. We might be skipping that Monday and just be putting something out draft day. I'll go ahead and make an announcement and everything. But until draft week, I can't wait. We shall see y'all then. Faith, love, and happiness. Go Niners.